Good morning, CSEC scholars. Welcome to another live CSEC class. This morning, we are going to be doing how to solve simultaneous equations, and we're going to use the method of substitution. For simultaneous equations, there are a number of methods that we can use to solve. In terms of algebra, we can use the substitution method, which we'll be doing right now, as well as we can use the elimination method, which we will do the next time we have this live algebra session. We could also solve simultaneous equations using matrices. We could solve simultaneous equations by using the graphical method, which is to intersect, to show where the two graphs intersect each other and get our solutions there. So there are a number of ways. Now, let's talk about first and foremost what we mean by simultaneous equations. And when we say we want to solve them, what exactly are we doing? So the word simultaneous means occurring at the same time. So several things, several events occurring at the same time. And usually, at least at this level, when you're given simultaneous equations to solve, you're given two equations that you're going to solve at the same time. Another way of looking at it, another way that the simultaneous could be relevant is that you're usually given two variables in each equation, and you want the solution for the two variables at the same time. So it's two equations with two different variables, x and y, or a and b, or whatever the symbol that is used to represent the variable. Usually at the CSEC level, you're given two equations, and each equation has two variables. So we don't just want to find out the value for x, we also want to find out the value for y, and we're doing it at the same time. We're solving for both of them. So that's how the term simultaneous equation comes in. Now, the method that we're going to be using today is the substitution method. All right, so substitution. And I always tell my students, my scholars, that when you're doing math, it's very important that you understand the language behind the math. Understand the meanings of the terms that we use to refer to the processes in the math, and it will make you better able to grasp the concept. So when we're talking about substituting, what do we mean to substitute? To substitute means to put one thing in place of another. So if you have your regular teacher and your regular teacher cannot be at school for that day or that week, you might get a substitute teacher who is going to fill the place of your regular teacher until your regular teacher can come back. Or if you are preparing some food and the recipe calls for butter and you don't have any butter, you can substitute margarine or some other form of oil-based substance. If it calls for cow and you don't drink cow's milk, you can substitute cow's milk for soy milk, almond milk, rice milk. So to substitute means to put one thing in the place of another thing. So the method of substitution that we're going to use, what we'll do is we will make one of the variables the subject of the equation. We will transpose. In other words, we will have one of the variables to the left of the equation and everything else to the right. So that means that variable is equal to everything else. And then we're going to substitute that value into the other equation and solve it. And then we will put that back into the original equation to find the second variable, because remember it's two variables. So let's show what I just explained. Seeing is believing, doing is understanding. So let's go. So normally when I get my simultaneous equations, I like to number them. I also like to underline the original set so that I know what I was given. So that's equation 1, that's equation 2. For substitution, I recommend that you use the substitution method when you can identify that at least one of the equations has a variable with a coefficient of 1 or -1. So what that means is choose the equation that has a variable by itself. It doesn't look like it has anything in front, which we know that if you see y, it really means 1y. So that we're not obligated to write 1 or -1 in algebra. We can just put the variable. -x here has a variable, has a coefficient of -1. We just don't have to write it. So in this case, we could choose this equation and make y the subject of the equation. We could choose the equation and make x subject. Since they both have variables, 1 or -1. I'm going to go with the positive variable. The student who has a calculator in her mouth, please remove it. Thank you, ma'am. Okay. I'm going to go with the positive variable because it's always easier to work with positive numbers. So I'm going to write the equation that I'm going to work with first. So that's 4x plus y equals 7. That's equation 1. Now I'm going to transpose to make y the subject of the equation, which means I'm going to move over the 4x to the right, and it's going to become a -4x. Another way of saying that is I'm going to subtract 4x from both sides, so that cancels out from the left, and I have on the right, I'll have -4x. So I have transposed and made y the subject of the equation. So if y is equal to 7/4x, what I'm going to do now is substitute this value in the second equation where y is. I'm going to put a bracket, substitute this value here. So I'm going to say substitute, and just write substitute into equation 2. Always let the examiner know what you are doing. Don't just get up and do things. Say, this is what I'm doing now. I'm substituting this value into equation 2 where y is. So I'm going to write equation 2, the original equation 2. And I'm going to do the substitution. So where y is, I'm going to bracket and put this value. So -x minus 2 times 7 minus 4x is equal to -7. So -x, now we expand the bracket. -2 times 7 is -14. negative 2 times negative 4x is positive 8x equals negative 7. And now we can 2 power x is x plus 8x, that's 7x, and carry over negative 14 to the right, we'll have negative 7 plus 14. So 7x is equal to 1. So x is equal to 7 divided by 7, which is 1. So now we have solved for x. We're not finished. We need to solve for y. So plug in. So now we know that x is 1. We can plug in this value of x in the equation 1. So substituting into equation 1. And equation 1 says 4x plus y is equal to 7. So if x is 1, then that means 4 times 1 plus y is 7. 4 1's 4. So 4 plus y is 7. Therefore, y is equal to 7 minus 4, which is 3. So the solution set is x is 1 and y is. So we can just put our solution set there. X is equal to 1, y is equal to 3. That's our first example. So let me see if, let me know if you understand. Our Legion says she doesn't understand what I'm doing. So that's the first example. We have 7 more examples to go. So hopefully end of the 8th example, you will be much clearer. All right. Carissa says she remembers this. Jamani says he understands. Okay. And some students are saying no, me, right? So like I said, we have 7 more to go. So take note. And always remember, whenever you solve simultaneous equations or any kind of equation in algebra, always check back your answer back, substitute it back into the original equation to see if it. So if we're saying x is 1, y is 3. So 4 1's 4 plus 3, that gives 7. And negative 3, negative 2 times 3 is negative 6. So negative 3 minus, sorry, negative 2 times 3 is negative 6. And this is negative 1 if x is 1. So negative 1 minus 6 would give 7. So that's add as well. All right, so let's go to number 2. For number 2, we have 3x plus 5y is equal to 23. That's equation 1. And x minus 2y is equal to negative 18. That's equation 2. And I like to underline my original equations. So let us go. All right, so we're to identify which of the terms has a coefficient of 1 or -1. Which is this term here. So we're going to focus on this equation for a little while, and we're going to transpose to make x the subject of the equation. So we write the focusing on x minus 2y is equal to -18. So x will be equal to, bringing over the -2y to the right, -18 plus 2y, or 2y minus 18, whichever way. So this value now, we're going to substitute this where x is in the first equation. So substitute into equation 1. So wherever x is, we're going to put a bracket and put -18 plus 2y. The person who said she didn't understand, I see why she doesn't understand. She's not paying attention. Please pay attention to what I'm doing, otherwise you will not understand. So we're going to use now the 3x plus 5y is equal to 23. And where x is, we're going to put a bracket and substitute this value here, -18 plus 2y. So we're going to 3 brackets, -18 plus 2y, close it, and continue the reciprocation. So that's plus 5y equals 20. Now we're going to expand the bracket times -18. That's -54. 3 times 2y is 6y. Plus 5y equals 23. So we're going to group our like terms now. We're going to take the -54 to the right, and we're going to add this y plus 5y, which gives a. And the negative comes positive 54. So 11y is equal to 77. So y is equal to 77 divided by 11. Y is equal to 7. All right, so we have solved for y, we need to solve for x. So since y is 7, we're going to plug this value into the other equation. We use equation 1, so now we're going to plug it into equation 2. Substituting into equation 2, which is x minus 2y equals -8. So since y is 7, x minus 2 times 7 equals -18, and 2 times 7 is -14. So x will be equal to -18 plus 14, which is -1. So our solution set x is -4. y is 7. And we can plug those in now to see if they add up. So 3 times -4 is -12. 5 times is 35, -12, plus 35 gives 23. -2 times 7 is -14. So -4 minus 14 gives -8. So that's how we know that our correct. All right, so Carissa is asking how I got 11. I added the 5y and the 6y. So remember, we had a 5y and a 6y right here. 6y and 5, we added them, and that's what got 11 there. Let's go on to example 3. Number 3. So that's x minus 3y equals 0. 2x plus 7y equals 26. And this is equation 1. This is equation 2. Okay. So looking at the two equations, we can see that this variable has a coefficient of 1. So we're going to focus on that equation and transpose to make the x the subject of the equation. So if x minus 3y is 0, so x is equal to 3y. So we're going to substitute that now into equation 2, wherever x is, we're going to put a bracket and put 3y. So substituting into equation 2, and equation 2 says 2x plus 7y equals 26. We're going to substitute 3y where x is. So we put 2 brackets 3y plus 7y equals 26. 2 times 3y is 6y. So 6y plus 7y equals 26. And 6y plus 7y is 13y. So if 13y gives 26, then y is equal to 26 divided by 13, which is 2. So y is equal to 2. So we're going to substitute that value into equation. So substitute into equation 1. And equation 1 says x minus 3y equals 0. So we're going to put 2 where y is. So x minus 3 times 2 equals 0. X minus 6 equals 0. So x is equal to 0 plus 6, which is, so our solution set, say x is 6 and y is 2. So let's check to see if that adds up. So negative times 2 is negative 6, and x is 6. So 6 minus 6, that's 0. 2 times 6 is 12. 7 times 2 is 14. Give 26. Example 4, and then we'll be halfway there. So example 4, negative 9x plus 8y equals 72. That's equation 1. And 5x minus y is equal to negative 9. And that's equation 2. All right, so we're going to examine the equations to see which one has coefficient of 1 or negative 1, which is negative y. So we're going to focus on equation 2 and transpose y the subject of the equation. So equation 2 says 5x minus y is equal to negative 9. Since it's a negative y, I can just bring over the y over the 9. So 5x plus 9 is equal to y. Okay. So we're bringing over the negative y, it becomes positive y. Bringing over the negative 9, it becomes positive 9. So this is the value for y, 5x plus 9. So we're going to go to equation 1, and wherever we see y, we're going to put it and plug in 5x plus 9. So substituting into equation 1, equation 1 says negative 9x plus 8y is equal to 72. So we're going, wherever we see y, we're going to put 5x plus 9. So it's negative 9x plus 8 times 5x plus 9 equals 72. So negative 9x, 8 times 5x is 40x. 8 times 9 is 72. Is equal to 72. Negative 9x plus 40x is 31x. And 72 minus 72, that's 0. So I should have changed the color of my ink. Sorry. So what we have is 31x is equal to 0. Therefore, we know x must be equal to 0. All right, so x is 0. So we're going to substitute that into equation 2. Wherever we see x, we're going to put 0. Equation 2 says 5x minus y is equal to negative 9. And so where x is, we're going to put 0. And we know that 5 times 0 is 0. So 0 minus y is negative 9. So negative y is equal to negative. Therefore, y is equal to 9. Our solution set, x is 0, is 9. Let's see if that makes sense. Negative 9 times 0 is 0. 8 times 9 is 72. 5 times 0 is 0. Minus 9 is negative 9. So that checks out. And we're halfway there. All right, so let me see now. So Carissa is saying she gets it now. She understands. And goes as I understand a little better now. Iman and Amari saying they understand completely, fully. Carissa, you say the last part. From where? Which last part? Is it a question you're talking? Let me know so I can review that part for you, Carissa. Which part you didn't get? Were you talking about question 4? Oh, 0 okay, parts. Okay, so let me go over. So if negative y is equal to negative 9, what we're really doing, we can divide both sides by negative 1 to cancel out the negative. So negative y equals negative 9. If we divide both sides by negative 1, these two negatives will cancel out. So y is equal to 9. Because we don't want negative y, no, we want a positive variable. So once you end up with a negative variable, divide both sides by negative 1 to get what the positive variable would be equal to. Because we don't want to solve for negative y, we want to solve for y. So anytime you see that happening, just divide both sides by negative 1. For question 6, we have 10x minus 2y equals 62 and 4x plus y is equal to 14. Okay, so the one that has a coefficient of 1, that would be this y. So we're going to make that transpose to make y the subject. So 4x plus y is equal to 14. So y is equal to 14 minus 4x. And let me change the color. So we're going to substitute that into equation 1. So substituting in all right, so wherever y is, we're going to put 14 minus 4x. So we have 10x minus 2y equals 62. So 10x minus 2 times 14 minus 4x equals 62. So 10x, negative 2 times 14, that's negative 28. Negative 2 times negative 4x is positive 8x. And that's equal to 62. X minus 8x, that's 2x. And sorry, 8x, that's 18x. And 62 plus 28, that would give 90. So we have 18x equal to 90. So x is equal to 90 divided by 18, which is 5. All right, so since x is 5, we're going to substitute this value for 5 into equation 2. All right, so substituting into 2. So that would have x plus y is equal to 14. So 4 times 5. So remember, wherever x is, we're going to put 5. Plus y is equal to 14. 4 5s 20. 20 plus y equals 14. Therefore, y is equal to 14 minus 20, which is negative 6. All right, we're going to substitute. We're going to our solution set. Our solution set would be x is equal to 5 and y is equal to negative 6. All right, so 10 times 5 is 50. Negative 2 times negative 6 is 12. 50 plus 12 is 62. 4 5 is 20. Minus 6 gives 14. All right, so let's go on to 7 and 8, and then we're going to go back to number 5 to see what was with number 5. Something wasn't adding up for number 5. All right, so for number 7, we have x plus 3y is equal to 28. That's equation 1. And negative x minus 6y is equal to negative 52. And that's equation 2. All right. So we can use this or this. I'm going to go with this, the positive x. So using the equation, we have x plus 3y is equal to 28. So x is equal to 28 minus 3y. All right, so we're going to plug in this for x wherever we see x in equation 2. So substituting into equation 2 and equation 2 says negative x minus 6y is equal to negative 52. Therefore, we're going to put a negative sign bracket and plug in this value, 28 minus 3y minus 6y is equal to negative 52. So negative times 28, that's negative 28. And negative times negative 3y, that's positive 3y. Minus 6y, negative 52. So grouping the like terms, c minus 6y, that's negative 3y. And we're going to have negative 52. Bring over the negative 28 is going to be a positive 28. So negative 52 plus 28 that's negative 24. So then y will be equal to negative 24 divided by negative 3, which is a positive 8. We're going to substitute this value of positive 8 into equation 1. So whichever equation you use first, substitute into the other one, into equation. So where y is, we're going to put 8. So equation 1 says x plus 3y is 8. So x plus 3 times 8. And 3 times 8 is 24. So x plus 24 is equal to 28. Therefore, x would be 28 minus 24, which is 4. So we're saying that x is 4 and y is 8. So that's our solution set. X is equal to 4 and y is equal to 8. So let's check if those add up. 4 and 3 is 24. 4 plus 24 is 28. Negative 6 times 8 is negative 48. Negative 4 minus 48 is 52. All right, so the last example 8. And we have 5x minus y is equal to negative 7. And 3x plus 8y equal to 93. So that's equation 1 and equation 2. All right, so we're going to use this, which has a coefficient of negative 1. All right, so we need 5x minus y is equal to negative 17. 5x plus 17 is equal to y. So wherever we see y in equation 2, we're going to put 5x plus 17. So substituting that into equation 2, all right, substituting that into equation 2, so we're going to have 3x plus 8y equals 93. So where y is, we're going to put 5x plus 17. All right, so 3x plus 8 times 5x plus 17 is equal to 93. And 3x, 8 times 5x, that's 40x. All right, and 8 times 17, that's 136. So what we're going to have, grouping the x's, so 3x plus 40x, that's 43x, is equal to 93 minus 136. Let me see what that gives. So 3 minus 136, that's negative 43. So 43x is equal to negative 43. So x is negative 43 divided by 43, which is negative 1. All right, so we're going to negative 1 where x is in equation 1. So substituting into equation 1, which is 5x minus y equals negative 17. So if x is negative, 5